With this one simple hack, I have managed to reduce my consumption of processed foods by 1/3, literally overnight. Hi everyone, if you're new here, my name is Osama. I'm a pharmacist of 22 years experience working in England. Thanks so much for spending your time with me today. So for quite a few years now, I've had quite a keen interest in health and nutrition, but like any other scientific pursuit, we do have to tweak our approach to things when new evidence comes to light. So for the past year or so, I've been closely following the team at Zoe and the work that they're doing as regards nutrition. The team at Zoe are taking a new approach to nutrition, more about that in a later video, but for now I'll leave a link in the description down below so that you can go check their website out if you think that's something that may be useful to yourselves. So every week Zoe produce a podcast and I don't always listen to it. It depends if the subject matter is of interest to me particularly, but the other week they had one of the founders of Zoe, Professor Tim Spector, who was talking about processed and ultra-processed foods. So I thought I'll listen to it, and it was actually quite a good one. Typically what happens is that right at the end of the podcast they will produce a summary of the topics that was discussed. So with this particular podcast the other week, Professor Tim Spector came up with what I thought was a genius idea for reducing our consumption of processed and ultra-processed foods. He argues that out of all our meals of the day, breakfast is the one that we probably have the most control over. So for example, for my breakfast I will usually have some sort of protein first. That could be salmon or it could be eggs. Then I will have a cereal afterwards, and I do it in that particular order so as to minimize the glucose spikes in my body. Again, more about that in a later video. Unfortunately, most cereals are classed as processed foods. Some even fall into the ultra-processed food category. More recently, I've tried to have cereals such as porridge that have as little processing as possible. So I'm trying to avoid the sort of ultra-processed cereals like Weetabix and whatnot, aiming more for, like I say, porridge and mueslis and stuff like that. But even with those, there is some degree of processing. And this is where the real genius thing comes in. So Professor Tim Spector came up with this really simple hack. Basically, instead of the cereal, swap out the cereal for something else, like a piece of fruit, for example, and instantly by doing that, you will have roughly cut out about 1/3 of your daily intake of processed foods, which I just think is such a simple hack, but it's something that I never really gave much thought to at all. It's so simple and so effective. I've started to implement that within my normal day-to-day routine, so we will see further on down the line what health benefits will come of it, which I'm sure there will be. The reason why this is important is that there is more and more evidence accumulating that our consumption of processed and ultra-processed foods is leading to a cascade of health issues such as diabetes, Alzheimer's, autoimmune diseases, inflammatory diseases within the body. Now, of course, we can't totally eliminate processed and ultra-processed foods from our diet, but if we can minimize them, we're going to optimize for a healthier life. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love cereals and I haven't cut them out completely. I will still have cereals maybe once or twice a week, but the days of me having cereal every day in the morning are gone. Anyways, that's a real short and sweet video. I hope you found value in it, and hopefully I will catch up with you next time. Laters. I'll show you my cat now. She's been in the video all along. Go on, honey. Are you going to say hello? Come on. Come on.